Hi everyone, thanks for checking out this video. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to download the dataset that we're going to be using for our first project. So yeah, we're almost at the point of actually like writing the code to do this analysis. But yeah, first I'll show you guys how to download this dataset. And like I've been saying, this actually is a real dataset. So we're going to download it from this website GEO, which stands for the Gene Expression Omnibus. And this is a website that's run by the NIH, so it's like run by the government. And it's basically a repository of basically what it sounds like, gene expression data sets that come out of experiments that are done by biologists. And then after the experiment, basically they upload their data to this online repository so that other people can download it and look at it and analyze it. So yeah, pretty cool. And one cool thing is it doesn't require any like account or like university affiliation or anything. It's actually open to the public. So yeah, you can use this website to sometimes like search for data sets for whatever you're interested in. So before we download the one we're going to be actually using, I'll show you guys how to use like the search function. And yeah, this is the web address, by the way, and I'll put a link to this in the description too. But yeah, once you're here on like the GEO main page, you can search for whatever you're looking for here. So let's say, for example, you were interested in studying Alzheimer's disease and interested in like the gene expression patterns related to Alzheimer's disease. You could then just type in like Alzheimer's disease, and then maybe RNA-seq. And then yeah, you can search. And then yeah, it'll give you a bunch of like pages for different data sets with like information about what experiment was done and like a description of the experimental method and stuff like that. And then each one of these will have a data set that you can then download and try to analyze. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a cool way to like look for data sets that might be of interest to you. Okay, so the one we're going to be using for our first project is going to be this one. And I'm just going to copy and paste in the URL up top. And I'll put a link also in the description to this page here. Oh yeah, you guys might notice this notice at the top too. That's just because yeah, at the time I'm recording this in October 2025, there's actually like a dispute going on in the U.S. government. It's like I think they're like fighting over like the budget or something. But yeah, like the government is actually currently shut down, and so a lot of like non-essential government websites have like some posting like this saying that they're not like actively updating the website. But even though yeah, I guess they're not like actively updating it, you can still find this page and like download the data and stuff. So yeah, I'll put this link in the description. You can also find it just by like Googling this ID number too. So yeah, each one of these pages has a ID number, and if you just like Google that, yeah, you can usually find the page just by searching this ID on Google too, if you have to. But yeah, so this is the page for this this like study that I've been telling you guys about in the previous videos. Again, it's a study of lung tissue where some of the lung tissue is control samples, meaning it's like healthy, even though some of it is literally from dead people who were organ donors. It's still like healthy in the sense of not having these diseases. So at least the lung tissue should be healthy enough to use for a control. And then it has some samples that are from lung tissue from this disease, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which again means scarring of the lung tissue with no known cause. That's the disease we're going to be interested in. And then it also has samples for this other disease, chronic hypersensitivity pneumonitis. We're actually going to be filtering those out because that's just another disease we're not going to be looking at. And yeah, it's got yeah, just a bunch of information. It's, yeah, a little bit of a summary of the data and like what we're looking at here. And yeah, it's got a little bit of information on like the experimental design, Yeah, it's like 103 control samples, 103 IPF, and then 82 of this CHP disease that we're going to be filtering out. And yeah, cool thing too about these like GEO like data pages is that they usually tell you like what paper is associated with this data set. So yeah, usually they'll have like some information here about the authors, like the researchers, as well as the actual paper. And then yeah, in this case, even a link to where to find the paper. So if you guys click this link here, it'll take you to the actual paper. And I'll put a link to this in the description too, so you guys can just get to it easily. But yeah, this is the actual paper that's about this data set. And you can get the full text right over here. Yes, this will give you the full text if you guys want to read through it and get some more information about the background of this study, basically. So yes, yeah, this is just a convenient thing about these like GEO pages is they give you some information. They give you usually like the paper citation as well as a link to the paper. Yeah, information about like what grant funded it. Something else useful, they'll usually give you like the contact information of like who you can email if you have questions about the data. So that's something also very useful. But yeah, so what we're looking for here is the actual like spreadsheet data with the gene expression information for all of these samples in all of the genes. So yeah, basically it's going to be of the format that I was showing you guys in the PowerPoint slides in the previous videos. And yeah, the reason I actually picked this study to use for an example is specifically because of how nicely formatted they made the data for us. So sometimes when you download the data from GEO, it will be in like a not very convenient format, and you have to do a little bit of like data cleaning and data processing yourself to get it into that like nice spreadsheet format. But in this case, with this study, the researchers already made it nice for us. So when we download this data, it's going to come already formatted very nicely and very conveniently for us. So yeah, the link to download the data is going to be right down here. It's this one here. This one that's the gene level count file.csv.gz. So yeah, go ahead and click this link here, this FTP button over here, and that should download a compressed file into your downloads folder. So yeah, that should actually download the data to your downloads folder here. And so you might be able to just unzip this by clicking on it, but for some reason, my computer, and I don't exactly know why, but it has a problem with these compressed like .gz files. So yeah, my computer for some reason is not able to like easily unzip these. So I get this error, unable to expand the file name into downloads. Yeah, like for some reason my computer just doesn't handle these like .gz files very well. So if you have if you're having the same problem, I'm going to show you guys how to also deal with this. So if you also get that error, just go ahead and open up your terminal and navigate to your downloads folder with cd downloads. So that will navigate into your downloads folder. Then if you type ls, you should be able to see the actual like zipped dataset file here. And if you have other stuff in your downloads folder, like this is the only thing in my downloads folder, so it's the only one there. But this ls might show you like all of your files in your downloads folder if you have more than just this. But yeah, if you download it properly, yeah, you should be seeing this at least in there somewhere. And then yeah, to unzip it, just go ahead and say unzip, and then the name of this whole thing. Yeah, just say unzip and then the name of this whole thing. And that should do the trick. Yeah, so that should do the trick where now we should be able to actually open this up. But yeah, just to make sure it opens properly, Yeah, this is a CSV file, so there's like many different ways you can open it. You could open it in like a text editor if you want to, but I think the easiest way to take a look at it is to actually open it with Microsoft Excel, which is the default for me on my computer. But yeah, if it's not already your default, just go ahead and right click and then go to Open With and then Microsoft Excel if you have that installed on your computer. If not, you can always open it in a text editor. Although if you open it in a text editor, it will or yeah, you know what? I'll show you guys that too. In a text editor, it will just look like the actual rows with the values like separated by commas. So the data is still all there, but it's just like less convenient to look at. But in Excel, it makes it a little bit nice for us. And yeah, so this is the data set we're going to be working with. And yeah, hopefully you guys noticed that it looks pretty similar to what I was showing you guys on the slides. Yeah, it actually is very simple. Like I was not really exaggerating how simple the format of the data is. It really does look like the simple version I was showing you guys on the slides. So yeah, it's like we were saying, it's like every row is a different gene. So these things here are the names of all of the genes, like the gene symbols. And there's about 18,000 or so genes. Yes, yeah, about 18,000 or so, maybe a little bit. Yeah, about 18,000 or so genes. And then every column is one of the samples. And the samples are labeled according to their condition, and then an underscore, and then some like number like ID. So yeah, these are the CHP ones. Remember, that's the other disease that we're actually going to be filtering out and getting rid of. So yeah, these are the CHP ones here. And then, yeah, some of these, if you scroll further in, yeah, you'll see some that are controls. These are the control samples. And then some that are IPF, yeah, the disease samples. So yeah, each one of these is a different sample that belongs to one of the different conditions. Each column is a sample. And then within each column, each actual number here tells you the count of how many fragments of genetic material, which technically was cDNA, but it was cDNA that was made from the RNA. So really, it's telling you about basically how much RNA was found corresponding to each one of these genes in each one of these samples. So this one is like one of the CHP samples. This is saying there were 98 fragments of genetic material that came from the RNA corresponding to this gene. So this could be like higher or lower depending on how much this gene was expressed or not. Remember, gene expression is the process by which information encoded in the DNA is used to produce a product, meaning the mRNA in this case, which ultimately we use as like a proxy measurement for the protein, because ultimately the mRNA is like this intermediate step that is ultimately used to make the proteins which do the actual work of the cell. But yeah, the mRNA content is like easier to quantify, so that's what these experiments measure basically. So yeah, basically this is telling us like how many fragments of genetic material that came from the RNA corresponds to each one of these genes in each sample. But yeah, that's like the technically precise way of saying it. But just like a simpler conceptual way of thinking about it is these numbers just tell you like how expressed each one of these genes was in each one of these samples. So higher numbers mean higher expression and lower numbers mean lower expression. In terms of, remember, expression is how much mRNA was found floating around in these cells that correspond to each one of these genes, basically. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Yeah, like I said, like I like this data set because the researchers really made it easy for us in terms of like giving us a very nicely formatted data set. Not all of them are this nice. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of work to get the raw data into this nice of a format. But yeah, they made it easy for us. So yeah, this will be a good starting point for us in the next video to start actually writing some code in Python and then start to do some analysis of this data set. And remember, like we said, the goal is to see basically which genes are differentially expressed between the control condition and the IPF condition. So we're interested in what's the difference between the IPFs and the controls in terms of like which genes are expressed differently in the IPF samples compared to the control samples. And yeah, we're going to do a little bit of analysis in Python to try to answer that question. So yeah, just to conclude this video, yeah, I'm gonna put the link to this GEO page in the description, so you guys can go ahead and download this data set. And yeah, in the next video, we'll start actually writing some Python code to start to analyze this data. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.